Okay. So Arlene, we have everybody, right?
Yes.
Everybody who's coming.
And 3 applicants. Someone is called iPhone. I don't know who that is.
Oh no.
We can let everybody in if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there's yeah. If that's easier for you, that's fine.
It's whatever you'd like.
I think probably one at a time. It gets the
You want one at a time? Okay. So the first one is going to be Glenmore Farms, and I have to do the let me do the intro. You can let them in though. It's Glenmore, Kirchhoff, and O'Leary. I don't know who's representing them.
It's
Yeah,
the surveyor.
A
Who is
guy
it?
named a guy named Kurt Horton.
Yeah, he's the surveyor.
Yeah. So all I see is the word iPhone for that user,
That's probably
or
him.
Laura Charles, or Kevin Debbie Fiero.
Okay, so iPhone's
Yeah,
our guy.
iPhone's my guy.
You can let him in.
iPhone's coming in.
Okay.
We'll see who this is.
So let me call the meeting to order. Let me call the meeting to order. This is the Town of Clinton Planning Board meeting of October 6, 2020, being held virtually. Let me read the disclaimer. Disclosure. Due to COVID-19, the COVID-19 pandemic, and pursuant to Executive Order number 202.1 issued on March 12, 2020, suspending the open meetings law and emergency state and federal bans on large meetings or gatherings, the Town of Clinton Planning Board scheduled for October 6, 2020 will be held electronically via Zoom instead of a meeting open for the public to attend in person. Members of the public may view the board meeting as it is live streamed on YouTube. That's the Town of Clinton website, townofclinton.com/government/planning board videos. The transcript of the meeting will be posted on the town's website at a later date. So if there are no questions about that, we'll proceed to our agenda items. We have no variance recommendations and we have no public hearings, so we'll go to applications. And our first applicant will be Glenmore Farms, Kirchhoff, and O'Leary. This is a lot line application. Is there someone here on the Zoom?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we
Yeah,
can.
we can hear you.
You're sideways, but we can hear you. If you go counterclockwise somehow, we'll.
Uh-oh.
There, that's good.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. I was hoping that I've got the cord at the bottom here on the phone to keep it charging.
Okay.
But I have to hold it now.
So you're good. You sound good and you look good. So
Okay,
Arlene's going to put the map up on the screen, and if you wouldn't mind just summarizing for the board what the applicants want to do here, we'd appreciate it.
Okay, Joe Kirchhoff, or Joe and Andrea Kirchhoff are neighbors with Patrick O'Leary. Glenmore Farms is wholly owned by Patrick O'Leary. So there's 3 properties: the Kirchhoff property, an O'Leary property over on the east, and the Glenmore Farms property, which is what we want to split here. It's about 30 acres owned by Glenmore Farms. They're going to convey 16 to the Kirchhoffs in a lot line change. It's going to be attached to their other existing parcels. It'll bring their acreage from 48 to 64 acres. And the remaining piece of Glenmore Farms would be landlocked. So that's why we're going to attach that to Patrick O'Leary's other piece to the east. And that's originally like 257 acres, and we're going to add about 20. So it's about 277 acres in the end. There is a conservation easement held by the Dutchess Land Conservancy on this property, which is going to run with the land. They're both are aware of that.
So that when you came and put the stuff in, you said you were going to get a letter from them. Did you get that yet?
I think Joe has it. To tell you the truth, I was surprised that I was on the agenda for this meeting, but we're going to get that. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have it now at the
So you're
moment.
still okay, but it's available.
Yeah. I think that what the Dutchess Land Conservancy, their board meets only so often.
Right.
I think they just had a meeting, and from what I understand, it was approved at the meeting.
Okay. So another problem that I noticed is that part of this is in the town of Pleasant Valley.
Yeah, I guess that's,
So,
I should have mentioned that.
so I think we have to declare ourselves lead agency. Is that correct, Paul?
Well, I mean, it's a type 2 action, so we wouldn't do seeker.
Don't we have to
I
let
was
them
thinking
know?
about this. I was thinking about this, and I guess it's, see how the board feels. I mean, there's not going to be any physical change to the property. There's not adding an access point. There's nothing, nothing's going to get built. So we could, if there are no other issues other than waiting for the DLC letter, we could conditionally approve this and circulate a copy of it to, Pleasant Valley Planning Board, if that, just as a courtesy. But I don't see,
Okay,
I don't know that they would have to hold their own proceeding and give their own approval here. That's, just my view, but I, throw it open to anybody else who might have a different view.
so there isn't an official way we are supposed to tell them that we're gonna.
Well, you're right. I mean, we would, if there were seeker circulation, we would circulate to them. You're absolutely right. And we would, they would have the option of coming in and saying, we want to participate. We want to be an involved agency, but they're not going to have that opportunity because we're not going to circulate. So we could, we could sort of give a conditional approval. We need the DLC letter anyway. And we could say, Arlene could send a copy of this to them and say, this is action was taken by the Town of Clinton Planning Board. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know within, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So, whatever we think is appropriate. And then, I think it's unlikely they're going to care, but it's certainly, it's possible. Because, ultimately when they record this, and the tax numbers change and everything, that's probably all they're going to care about, is my guess. Is
Well,
they
can I
assess
just-
it properly.
But Arlene,
We did this going back, we did a lot line where the other town is involved. We normally do not do any secret, and we just give them a letter of the approval. We do.
Okay, good.
So that's what we do.
Yeah, so I think we could give them, I think it sounds like it's going to be conditional because we need the DLC approval. So, they would have a window of opportunity to come back and say, wait a minute, stop everything, and we would probably, in the very unlikely event they did that, we could say, okay, it hasn't been signed off yet, but we give a conditional approval.
Mhm.
I just don't think they're gonna, there's gonna be any issue, because if they're adding like an access point or there was some kind of construction, I would say, we'd have to do seeker.
right.
And at that point, yes, we would coordinate with them. It would be a coordinated review, I guess, is what we would do. So,
So how
but
would
here
you
there's
word
also-
that? How would you word that? Pleasant Valley consents to the action?
well, that's a really good question, because what if they don't respond?
Right.
I think it.
Having
Doesn't
heard
object.
no objection from
How
Pleasant
about,
Valley.
yeah, it doesn't object.
Yeah, I think it could say, the resolution and the supporting documents will be circulated to the Town of Pleasant Valley Planning Board. And, yeah, and exactly. And unless they object, we'll proceed with it or something,
Can I suggest something? How about
Yeah.
condition to the approval of the DLC? Because if they do not approve the lot line, so
We're
that
gonna have
means
that too.
everything will be good.
Yeah, that one for sure.
That's number 2.
That one for sure. I just wasn't sure if he was gonna say he had the letter already.
No, I don't have it yet.
Okay. So we have a list of waivers that they requested. So
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the waivers as requested.
Second,
Any discussion? All in favor?
aye.
I guess we have to do a roll call.
Tracy, I.
Jack, aye.
Paul, aye.
Sarah, aye.
Jerry? Jerry, aye.
Jerry, aye.
Okay, and
So the
then,
waivers,
and
Go
then
ahead.
another question I had was, whether it's in a CEA or not, because it's darn close to Salt Point there.
Excuse me?
Is it in the, CEA? Is it in the Hamlet of Salt Point or not?
well, I mean, it would be Clinton Corners would be the closest
Salt
CEA
Point,
for,
Salt Point, just because it's not in our town.
I don't think, I mean, it's not in the Hamlet.
Okay. I just wasn't sure how.
So I'm not reading it as a CEA unless there's some other environmental feature
Okay.
that, you know, wouldn't affect approving this anyway. You just, yeah, right, you'd want to note it. I don't think it's in the CEA, but I didn't actually,
Well, I guess my real question was, does it affect us if it was in a, I mean, I don't even know if Pleasant Valley has the same rules about it that we do.
yeah, it wouldn't be, you wouldn't use Salt Point as the, you know, as the location of the CEA. You would say Clinton Corners,
Well,
or
it's definitely far enough away. From
yeah,
us.
or some other, you know.
Yeah.
Is it in the Taconic, 3,000 feet of the Taconic thing?
I don't think so.
3,000 feet? No, I don't think so.
The last time we did something on the O'Leary property, it wasn't.
Right. Okay.
I mean, it does extend, not this property, but he does own property over on Hibernia Road, which
Right.
might qualify, but not
Right.
this one.
And there aren't any variances or anything like that on the Glenmore property, is there?
No, not this piece. It's
Um,
undeveloped. It's just
yeah.
Vacant.
hay fields, really.
Um,
Hay fields and wetland.
so yeah, so I think that's everything I had.
Anybody else have any questions or comments on the?
Oh, I had one other thing, sorry. What's the number on the Salt Point Turnpike of Glenmore Farms? I couldn't find it anywhere. The address.
I don't know if this has a number, because this is,
Oh, because it doesn't have a mailbox, right?
It's a
Okay.
vacant lot.
yeah, it doesn't have a mailbox, and the actual place where it has road frontage is in Pleasant Valley.
Right,
Um,
okay. So I'm just not gonna say it a
Do
number.
you want to label, Tracy, do you want to label it lot A, lot B? This way it's clear. It's up to you.
No,
well,
I
they're
mean,
under different ownership.
I was
correct.
just gonna, I usually say the parcel located at the address.
Oh,
And
well,
no address of it, it's just the guy's address in New York. You know what I mean? I'll
I
just
could
leave-
take a quick look on parcel access.
there's none. It's a vacant parcel. There's none.
All right, well, I'll just say the Salt Point Turnpike. That's good enough.
This is it. Here's the town line.
Yeah, well. Okay,
Yeah, I'm-
that's everything I had.
I do have to make one correction to the map. I don't have the Town of Clinton approval block on there. I just have the one for Pleasant Valley.
It's all right. I could stamp it.
Any other comments?
I mean, I can just add it. It's not a problem.
Okay. That's all I saw. So shall I go ahead with this?
Mm-hmm.
Should I go ahead? Uh-oh. What happened?
You guys
Oh,
there?
hello? Uh-oh.
There you go.
Oh. Okay, so should I go ahead and read the resolution?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm in and out on Zoom right now, but yeah, go ahead, go ahead before I disappear.
Okay. Be it resolved, that the Town of Clinton Planning Board grants conditional final approval for the lot line adjustment between the lands of Andrea Kirchhoff, tax grid, the lands of Dr. Patrick O'Leary, tax grid, and Glenmore Farms, Inc., tax grid, located at Salt Point Turnpike, Salt Point, New York, for the purpose of conveying 16.142 acre parcel from Glenmore Farm, Inc. to Andrea Kirchhoff, and 19.859 acre remaining parcel to Dr. O'Leary's property, eliminating the 36.0001 acre Glenmore Farms, Inc. parcel. Whereas all fees have been paid, after the lot line adjustment, Kirchhoff lands will increase from 48.209 to 64.351, and the O'Leary lands will increase from 257 to 277 plus or minus acres. A consent of authorization to act has been filed for Kirk Horton to act on behalf of all three of the parties involved. The Glenmore Farms property is subject to a conservation easement held by the Dutchess Land Conservancy, which will continue to run with the land regardless of the transfer of ownership. A letter from the DLC regarding its approval of this lot line will be provided. The planning board has received and granted a written request for waivers on the plat submission. The majority of the land is located in the town of Clinton. However, a portion is located in the town of Pleasant Valley. A letter will be sent to Pleasant Valley explaining this action. The parcel is in an ag district, and an ag data statement is on file. The property is not in a CEA. The property is not in a scenic ridgeline historic district. Lot line adjustments are type 2 under seeker and no further action is required. The planning board does not require a public hearing on this action, and there are no variances on the Glenmore Farm parcel. Conditions are that Pleasant Valley will not object after 14 days, and the letter from the DLC is received.
Second.
I think Paul's not there.
We've lost Paul.
Yeah.
We lost the chairman?
Okay, I'll see you next meeting then.
Okay.
Wait a minute, we need to do a roll call.
Okay. Oh, he's trying back in here. Paul? Oh, he's muted.
Yeah.
Oh,
Paul,
he's muted.
Paul, can you hear? Paul? There you go.
Does anybody recognize the phone number 266-3004?
Gotta be Paul.
That might be him.
He's
Let him
back.
in.
You guys there?
Yeah.
I gotta,
Paul, are you calling?
hold on.
Yeah.
You guys there?
Yep.
Yes, that's you. Okay.
Okay.
So I read the resolution, Jack seconded it, and now we're waiting for you to say.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Tracy, I.
Jack, aye.
Sarah, I.
Paul, aye.
Justin, I.
Sorry.
Jerry, I can.
Sorry. Okay, so So what we're going to do is, I hope you can hear me. So what we're going to do
Yes.
is, thank you. We'll need the DLC letter, and then we're going to circulate this to the final copy of the resolution and the materials to Pleasant Valley. And if we don't get anything within, we'll say by the next meeting or within 2 weeks. And if we have the DLC letter, then Art can sign off on the Mylar whenever you get it to us.
Okay,
Does that sound okay?
that sounds great.
Hold on. But you have 62 days from the time that the Mylar is signed to file it to the county.
Right.
Excuse me a minute. Paul, can we just let in everybody because they don't know what's going on, these people, so just, on the waiting room.
You want them all? You want them all let in? Sure. Is that-
Yeah, because they're emailing me. What's going on? We can't
Okay.
get it."
Okay. All right.
Light them all in. I light them all in.
Sorry, guys. We were gonna wait to let you in. That's why. That's why you're waiting in the waiting room. But
Hello.
So Kirk, I think you're done. So you can.
Okay,
Thank you very
Bye.
much.
thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. All right, so that was an adventure. So let's try the next one. Our next application is Fiero lot line adjustment. This is 1338 and 1346 Center Road. Is someone here for that application?
Yes,
Hi, and who are you?
Kevin Fierro and Debbie Fierro.
Ah, hello.
Hi.
This is Paul Thomas. I'm the acting chair or the interim chair, whatever it is, when the chair isn't here. And we're gonna Arlene is going to, I think, is going to put your sketch on the screen so the board can see it. But it would be helpful if you could summarize for the board what you are trying to do with your application.
Okay, well, we are at 1338, been there for 40 years. We purchased 1346 about a year and a half ago. 1346 Center Road has a 1 3/4 lot behind it that was added to it. Not sure when, but we'd like in 69, and we'd like to add that 1 3/4 to 1338.
Okay, Arlene, do we have the
yeah, hold
sketch?
on.
Okay.
Sorry. I had it before.
I mean, if Jack, if you want to, if you have comments before Arlene puts the drawing up, we can start with that.
Sure. Hi. Hi.
There we go.
Good. The main issue I think we've got is that both of these lots are less than the 3 acres that's required. And as I understand it, your proposal will make one of the substandard lots 3 acres, so it'll be conforming. That's a good thing. The problem is the other one will reduce the size of the lot to 1 acre, making it more substandard. And I think there's a solution here, but I need to walk you through it, and I need you to help me out a little. The code we have says that the proposed lot line adjustment shall not create any substandard lot or render any lot more substandard than it may be. So this would make the 1346 lot more substandard, and it, on the face of it, would be barred and we'd have to deny the application. But in prior situations, we have said that the remedy here is a variance. I think you guys have been through the variance procedure before in connection with the shed that you put in. Are you familiar with it?
That's correct. Yes.
The planning board makes a recommendation, and then the ZBA rules on the application. So is that a procedure you want to follow here? The alternative being that we just deny it and everybody goes home.
Well, then, yeah, let's proceed.
That's a tough one.
Good answer. So with that in mind, I just have a couple of questions. The drawing you've put up, and I understand the only survey you've got is 1969. But you're preparing a new survey, right?
Well, Jack, we have someone lined up,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't want to get that deep into it without some kind of, we can move forward.
Okay. Let me ask though, I went and I looked at the property, knocked on the door, but I don't think you were home. It looks like it's more than 75 feet from the back of the house on 1346 to the rear line. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
The one that gives me a little more concern is the side yard, which has to be 50 feet from the house to the side of the property. Just eyeballing it, I wasn't sure that it was 50 feet. Is it, or is there a variance or something else in place for that?
No, Jack, it is not 50 feet. I measured it today. It's more like 35 feet. So if that line has to be moved.
But it's always been like that.
Right, but it's always been like that. I mean, that house has been there since the 60s like that.
What I'm thinking is long as you're going to be seeking a variance to reduce the acreage, down to the 1 acre, you might as well clean everything up and seek a variance for the existing line. So that'll be nice and shiny if you want to sell the property. Does that make sense to you?
A variance.
A variance, yeah. So we don't have to move the line, Jack, or?
Well, my thought would be you wouldn't have to move the line if the ZBA gives you a variance, and since it's been there since the dawn of time, it seems to me there's a pretty good case for that. So I guess I'm asking is if you want to go forward and just seek this one variance to move the lot line, or whether you want to, as long as you're going through the process, get two variances, one for the lot line and one for the
Setback.
Side yard.
the 50-foot side yard. You can do that too, whichever you'd like to do. But if there's no variance then right now, then I think it may be in violation. So you might as well, I would think you'd want to clear the whole thing up.
Sure,
We're
well,
talking about this, Jack, the house.
The house.
Yeah, the house
The house.
on lot B.
Yeah,
But
the house is
where is it built? I think it was,
is it grandfather?
yeah, I believe so.
I'm trying
It
to.
was built in the 60s.
Yeah,
So when did the zoning code go in? 62, wasn't it?
no.
Earlier, later?
It's a good question, and we've interpreted it as, I have at least, as 91 for the current version, but there are some other sections that say 70 something, depending on what you're doing
Well, the
for
60s,
non-conforming building.
Then it's grandfather.
What's that?
Then it's
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and they're not moving the line closer, so it's probably not mandatory that particular issue. Yeah.
I don't think we have to, and they're extending the line, but there's no building on the extended part,
Right.
Yeah.
So in that, if it's grandfather, then we're okay. So then the question
I think so.
I've got for the board is, we can go one of two ways. We can deny the application for a lot line adjustment without prejudice to their applying for a variance. Or we could consider this application to be an application for a variance and make I would think, a positive recommendation, because nothing's really changing, so that they can go right up to the ZBA to get their variance and not have to come back to us again, which I would like to do if we can, but totally up to the board on this. Whichever way you'd like to proceed would be fine with me. I've drafted 2 resolutions going either way. So I'm fine with whatever you conclude.
Does anybody have any comments? I think we can make the recommendation, and then they'll have to go to the ZBA. But if anybody disagrees, we can do it the traditional way.
I think it makes sense to interpret it as a request for a variance in conjunction with a lot line adjustment and save everyone.
Save a meeting. Yeah. Save another meeting.
It'll save them a meeting and move things along a bit. I think I'd like to do that on the grounds of helping out the neighbors. So with that in mind, I have a proposed resolution. Applicants Kevin and Debbie Fierro seek, whereas applicants Kevin and Debbie Fierro seek a lot line adjustment pursuant to section 206.13 of the subdivision of land code with respect to 2 adjacent properties they owned at 1338 and 1346 Center Road in the town of Clinton in an AR3 zone, long numbers. Both parcels are non-conforming substandard lots. Parcel A at 1338 Center Road is 1.25 acres. Parcel B at 1346 Center Road is 2.75 acres. Applicants propose to transfer 1.75 acres from B to A, making A, that is 1338 Center Road, 3 acres, and B, that is 1446 Center Road, 1 acre. The 1.75 acres in question were, at least as of 1969, a separate landlocked lot before being combined with 1346 Center Road. The proposal has the advantage of making 1338 Center Road into a conforming lot at 3 acres. However, 1446 would then become even more non-conforming at 1 acre. Section 206-13B1 states that the proposed lot line adjustment shall not create any substandard lot or render any lot more substandard than it may be. We have recognized in prior proceedings that an application for a lot line adjustment which would make an existing lot more substandard requires an area variance. See application of Forstler, September 3, 2019 and November 19, 2019. Accordingly, we consider this application as seeking an area variance. An area variance is a type 2 action under secret and requires no further review. The property question is not in a CEA or a ridgeline scenic or historic district. The proposed change will not affect the appearance of either lot from the street, because the 1.75 acres at issue is behind the houses and is not readily viewable. The house directly behind 1346 is apparently also on a 1 acre lot. Accordingly, the 1.75, as noted, the 1.75 acres was once a separate lot and is thus consistent with the neighborhood. Indeed, the proposal will have the benefit of reducing the number of non-conforming lots from 2 to 1. Therefore, we conclude that the proposed change will not affect an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or affect the physical and environmental conditions of the neighborhood. The desired benefit cannot be achieved by other means. The difficulty is self-created and the change is substantial. Now, therefore, be it resolved that treating this application as a request for an area variance, the planning board makes a positive recommendation to the zoning board of appeals on the condition that all applicable fees have been paid. Is that right, Arlene?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there a second? Second.
Jerry, second.
Any discussion?
Question.
Yep.
Jack,
Yeah.
what variance are you proposing? Is that for the acreage?
Yes, it's an area variance
I know. Variance to what? To the acreage?
to the acreage, yeah.
Yeah, it's 206.13, Jack.
206.13, yes.
And there's actually another section in the zoning law under planning board responsibilities or something that I saw that actually says basically the same thing about you can't make it more substandard. So,
You want to add that?
I mean, we could. It's, you know.
I think it's better because a ZBA is very crucial when it comes to the language of the legal ads. So you want to make
The
sure.
very what?
The verbiage
the-
of the legal ad. So if it's like two variances to the section of the acreage and the other one for making a non-conforming, for creating a non-conforming lot, you know.
It's only to create the non-conforming lot. That's we talked through the others and they were grandfathered and all that. So there's no application fee.
Yeah, I have to find that other section. It's basically exactly the same as the one Jack cited too. It's just oh, here it is. It's 250-95K lot line alter K 3A. The planning board, after review of application for lot line alteration, is authorized to issue a permit to grant the application if A, the proposed lot line alteration does not thereby create any substandard lot or render any lot more substandard than it may be.
Okay, I'll refer to both of those.
250-95K 3A.
And also 206.13, whatever.
And also 206.13.
I will include both of those in the resolution as I forward it.
Any other comments or questions from the board?
This is just the variance, right? And then if the variance is granted, they're gonna come back with the
They're gonna have to come back and then we'll do the lot line variant. Adjustment.
Yeah, so I mean, we got to remember to vote on the resolution. But right, to the applicants, you know, you're absolutely right to wait on the survey, I think, until you had a read on whether this would work. So if you get the variance, when you come back to the planning board with the variance, you'll want to come back with your survey, because we can do a lot line if everything checks out in one meeting, and if we can't do it based on just a drawing like this, we would need your survey at that point. But at that point, you'll know that you'll have the variance.
Done deal, basically. Yeah.
That sounds good, right?
Okay, yes.
Is that okay?
I'm trying to get everybody back. I kind of lost everybody. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
When did you when did you when did you
Not too long
part.
ago. Not too long ago.
So something good happened. Yeah, you heard that there's a resolution to give you a positive recommendation for the ZBA.
Yes,
Okay.
Absolutely. We heard everything.
Okay.
I just kind of lost video
Still have, yeah.
still have, but
Okay, so we have to vote on the resolution, and then you'll have to go to the next ZBA meeting that you can get into with this proposal. And what I said, and all I was saying before is, if you get the variance granted, when you come back to the planning board to get your lot line, you will need the survey, the actual survey.
okay. So our next step is the variance board, correct?
Right.
And then after the variance goes hopefully our way, we get the survey done, and we bring it to you guys.
Exactly.
Okay.
And usually we can handle it in one meeting. So you have, with any luck, you only have 2 more meetings to go.
Okay.
Not that it isn't a pleasure to see you all the time, but
yeah, we love to have you come back, but yeah.
So let me ask you this: when is the next variance board? Do you know?
ZBA, Arlene. We have to vote on the resolution.
October 22.
October 22nd?
Yes.
Okay.
Same time.
but they have to vote.
Okay.
All right, so let's vote on this, on the resolution. This is Jack's resolution for positive recommendation. We'll do it a roll call style. Anybody want to start?
Jack
Tracy,
votes
aye.
in.
Sarah, I.
Justin, I.
All aye.
Jerry, I.
Jack, I think you said aye. So it's unanimously agreed to, and so I don't know if you can get on. If I assume you can get on October 22nd. If you can, Arlene, will they accept the drawing, the sketch? I think it's only fair.
Yeah, they
You can
will.
see what's intended, and I don't think they should have to do the whole survey before they. Okay, so they need to submit this. You'll tell them what they need to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just to be clear, you want, when they come back for the lot line, you want a drawing showing the layout of the lot A, lot B, but with the actual survey done, right?
Yeah.
You mean an actual survey.
Survey.
Yeah. What he meant, Kevin, is, this way all the lines are configured right,
Right, that's understandable. We just didn't want to move forward with an actual survey
Right.
and get into all that money and then
It's expensive.
then everybody say, well, no, why'd you do that? Because that's not happening.
No, it was a good way to do it. You did it the right way.
I thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much. I think you can, unless you want to listen in, I don't know why you would, but you can drop anytime.
Well, no. Listen, I appreciate everybody, and we'll talk to you all very shortly, hopefully.
Thank
Kevin,
you very much.
I'm sorry, Paul.
Go
Kevin,
ahead.
are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I'm gonna need you to fill out a variance application. All right, so I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Debbie. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night.
Have a good night. All right. The next matter is a 2-lot subdivision, 404 Pumpkin Lane. Carlos?
Present.
How
are you?
How are you? How are
Doing
you?
great. Thank you very much. I'm here with my wife Flora and our daughter joined also. She's 4 months old, going on 5 months, so she may contribute lively banter.
That's great.
Yes.
We don't see that very often at these meetings, so that's great.
Okay, good. We're bringing down the median age considerably.
So Arlene's going to put your sketch on the screen.
Yep.
And it would be helpful to describe for the board what it is you would like to do while she's doing that.
Sure. So in 2016, we purchased this property on 404 Pumpkin Lane. And I say this property because what we purchased was 2 different lots that are naturally separated by Pumpkin Lane, making approximately 26 acres. As it's one tax parcel that we purchased. And at present, we would like to separate the 2 parcels. So our house sits on 10 acres and change, which is on the north side of the street. And then the south side of Pumpkin has about 16 acres and change. We would like to separate the 10 acres where our house sits with the 16 acres on the south side of the street from the 16 acres on the south side.
Okay. We're still getting the drawing up, and I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
I think it's mislabeled on Arlene's thing. It says
It's here.
404 Willow.
Can you see it?
Oh,
Yeah, but it says the
good.
right
Good
name.
spotting.
Nice.
We don't see it.
You don't see it?
No, we see-
All I see is a list.
You see your files.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. Huh. I have it on my screen. Hold on.
Now I see you.
Yeah. Can you see it?
Yes.
There we go.
Yay.
Oh, good.
Yeah, here we go. So our house sits on, as I mentioned, the north side, which is about 10 acres and a little bit more. And then it's a empty lot across the street, divided by Pumpkin Lane of about 17 acres. And they're all on one tax ID. And our plan or our goal, if it works, is to separate both plots into two different tax parcels.
And there are there are some things drawn on the vacant lot that looks like septic
Yeah.
things. What's that all about?
So this survey was one that was created by the prior owners of all of this. And at that time, they were looking to create a subdivision across the street. And that's what those drawings are. That is not our goal. Those
can be disregarded.
Yeah.
I tried to notate
Okay.
that on the drawing.
Those things don't exist.
Right. Okay. There you go.
So it's not approved, right? The Department of Health did not approve this yet.
Correct.
That is correct.
And Arlene, you included in our packets the history of this, right?
Yes, you wanna give them the history of it.
Yeah, so I don't have the exact dates, but like Carlos said, I think this came before the board. I think, Paul, you were in the minutes, and Elliot's in the minute, and Art's in the minutes. I don't know who else was on the board, but it looked like this exact thing came before the board. And in kind of looking through the motion, I think this old survey is still missing a couple of the bells and whistles that we require under the code, and so it all kind of tracked. But I think this is a simplified ask of what the board reviewed. It was a conditional sketch plan approval, as far as they got last time. And so this would be a sketch plan approval again. I think there's a few things that need to be added to this sketch plan, just like the owner's names and kind of simple things to do the sketch plan approval. But this, I don't know if Arlene or Carlos or Laura, part of the original question was like, are there driveways that got approved by the highway department? Do you know if these driveways are those driveways? Like, are they, or are they just made up? Arlene,
They're just made up. Yeah. As far as I know, these are just made up.
I agree. Nothing is settled there, Justin. The driveway.
Okay, so we'll just pretend like this is totally vacant, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
And are there any current plans to build anything on this vacant lot, or are you just keeping it vacant for now?
There's intentions, but there are no plans. Yeah.
The intention would be for us to sell the house on the 10 acres with the intention, as our family is growing, to build a new house on the property across the street.
Okay. But you don't have any plans or engineering, whatever design?
No, we do not. We do not.
And are those coming anytime soon, or is that is that next week or next month or next year?
No, it wouldn't come until we completed a sale and sort of got our heads above water with the 4-month-old, and we're able to sort of focus on getting that done. So not anytime not anytime this year for sure.
Okay.
I mean, in 2020.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But possibly in 2021 would be the goal to make that work, make that happen.
So, I mean, I don't know, Paul or Arlene, like from a next, when they're, right, we can look at the sketch plan, I guess, right, which is just really 2 outlines of land. And I think it needs some tweaks that I can walk through. But if they're looking for a preliminary or a final approval, does that approval require the plans of the new house? Or can they wait until they're ready to build the house? I don't know.
Yeah, so what the board could do, is approve the sketch, and then I think what would need to be fleshed out, would be an access point onto the new lot, a driveway. In other words, a feasible driveway somewhere along this frontage, and I'm talking now. This would be the preliminary plat that would be submitted at the next stage. Would show, a feasible driveway. It doesn't have to be and fully engineered or anything, but it would have to be something that would work in terms of highway access, the highway department signs off on it. And then show a feasible building envelope. Since it looks like there's some wetlands on the property. So we'd want to see a building envelope where, a house theoretically could be placed. But we don't need, for a lot this size, we would not need a septic, actually engineered or drilled or anything like that. But we would just need to know that a building on the lot would be feasible. So access and location for a building envelope that is not, in a wetland or on a steep slope, that kind of thing. And, you may want to have an engineer look at what this may be for your benefit as well as ours, right? Look at the land and say, here's where the house could, here are all the places the house could go, and here are all the places your driveway could go, and you make a decision as to how you, in theory, would want it to go. And then on your preliminary plat, you would show the driveway in rough form and just an envelope for the house. You do not need to place the house precisely in the plan. And you could even, in theory, change the driveway, but we would just need to know that one is feasible.
Okay.
And then
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, what's the difference, right? Could they combine a preliminary and a final, or are there two different?
You can. You can. So you could submit, a survey that's done by a licensed engineer or surveyor that has everything that we would need for final, and this is a simple subdivision, and if the board didn't have any, questions about what was on there, it could be set up. You would submit that, you would come to another meeting with that, or your surveyor or engineer would. The board would review it, and if the board accepts that, we would set up a public hearing on the application, so that would be another meeting. And we would circulate for seeker, and at the second meeting, in other words, the meeting where the hearing was held, if everything checks out and there's no problems, we could, in theory, give approval, even final approval for at the second meeting. If there was a problem, it would just be, you wouldn't have to have another hearing or anything. You would just have to fix whatever the issues were in the plan. But I agree, yes, Justin, I think this could be combined, preliminary and final, but you have to have everything on the plan that, that we need to see. And you may want to have some waivers here. You can discuss that with your surveyor engineer. I mean, may not need everything that's on the checklist for something like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say, for the preliminary approval, right, the list of things that need to be fixed for this survey, and this is the kind of what the conditional approval was last time. On the address, it should say Town of Clinton, Dutchess County, New York. We're just missing Town of and County right now, so that's one change. Change two is that both the property owner's names should be somewhere, like your full names, and then. And these are all in, like, one is section A, one is section B, and the last one is J, is a notation that this is in the Ridgeline Protection Area and also the Taconic State Parkway Viewshed area. It is not in a critical environmental area, but it's got to show that it's in those the zoning overlay districts, rather. Those are the three things that I think we're missing on the sketch checklist.
So does that mean that it's going to need a long form EAF too?
That's a good question. I don't think for a subdivision that's the case, but let me check that. It's a very good question. I believe that's for special permit, but we should figure that out. What's that?
Close to Taconic, the proximity to Taconic. How far?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's for subdivisions though.
Subdivision is an unlisted. Are you just a plain subdivision?
Yeah.
Is it unlisted action?
Hold on, I have that.
Yeah. This is simple. This is not complicated. So again, I think really we need to, so the next stage would be, if the board is willing to approve the sketch plan, would be to get you know, a professional to survey this and give you, you know, put everything on the plan that needs to be on there, including the driveway location. And, you know, I'd like to see a building envelope, given just, you know, there are some limitations on the property, so we would want to specify where a building can go. If there are any other limitations on the property, we'd want to know about that. But that would be the next,
Well,
the next
can I
stage.
add, Paul? We also normally ask to include a potential driveway in case the other driveway is not feasible for use. So they have to locate a potential driveway, a second driveway, in case something happened to the other driveway, that there's an access. Remember that?
Why would that be? If they have one driveway that works, why would they need?
We always in the past, every time we approve a subdivision, we always ask the applicant to show another potential driveway in case something happened to that driveway or whatever, that there's another access to the property. Approved by the highway, of course.
That's usually when there's a shared driveway.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
On the shared driveway?
Yeah, where there's or an easement where, you know, something could happen and then you need to show that there's another way of getting in. Here it's a straight shot, really.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they do have to get. You would have to get the highway, the town highway.
Approve it.
You know, one thing I don't. Well, it depends where it's going to be. I don't think you need any kind of other. It's close. It is close to the Taconic, but the access is on Pumpkin, so I don't think there would be any other approvals. That's something we could ask about, though. For, you know, just for the access way, I think it's still just the town highway department.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's the next stage. So you would submit that, and then, as I said, you'd come back for a hearing. We'd have another discussion and review everything, and then set up a hearing.
Got it. So get these things done, submit, have another meeting like this in which we discuss that. If things look good, then you said a hearing would be a public
Yeah,
hearing.
you're required to have a hearing for any subdivision application.
Got it. What's the public hearing? How does that, where does that happen? Just what are the logistics of that? Just because I don't know what it is.
Well, so that'll be scheduled while you're here at the first meeting where you come back with your preliminary plat, and it'll be scheduled, and your neighbors will receive anybody abutting right, Arlene? Anybody abutting the property will receive a certified letter. Go ahead.
Got it.
Within 200
Arlene, go ahead.
feet. I'm sorry. So your neighbors within 200 feet are gonna receive a letter about your intention that you're trying to subdivide it. If they have any concerns or whatever, they're gonna speak up. They're gonna send a letter of objection. If they don't, they're gonna ignore it, whatever. But we have to send them the letter, and it's gonna be on the paper too.
Understood. Okay.
So people can come and comment, you know, if they're so inclined.
Got it. Okay. And what would be the next meeting to try to get this back on the docket to meet again?
Well, so we have to approve your sketch plan if the board wants to do that, and then you've got to get us the preliminary plat with all the required information done by a surveyor. So you've got to get that to us generally 2 weeks in advance of a scheduled meeting.
Got it. Okay.
And then you get on if you've submitted everything that we need, you get on the agenda, the next agenda.
Understood. Okay. Excellent.
And Paul, do we declare ourselves lead agency now to start getting people involved, or do we wait?
Yeah. Our code just says we should discuss what kind of an action it's going to be, which you kind of did. I mean, I agree with you. It's unlisted, you know, it's a simple, you know, it's unlisted, uncoordinated, you know, secret review. So, we're just supposed to discuss what it's going to be, but we don't start the secret. We don't circulate until they submit the preliminary plat.
Well, because last time it looks like they did the sketch plan approval and this lead agency declaration together. I didn't know if we just want to get that going so that we can involve the highway department or not. I don't care.
I mean,
Paul,
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I don't think there's enough information on this to circulate it. Go ahead, Arlene.
Paul,
Okay.
the last time in 2014, when this was before the board, before their ownership, IRA, so we did the sketch, we did the lead agency, and we on the board agreed that this is unlisted coordinated action.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
It was unlisted, coordinated, involved agencies were Board of Health, Highway Department, interested agencies were CAC, Dutchess County Planning, Scenic Roads, Fire Department.
yeah, it's not coordinated. I don't know what we did then, but it's not coordinated.
No,
This is real.
Arlene's reading from the minutes or whatever, but
yeah.
fine. But your point is that we don't need to do that now. We can just do the sketch plan approval.
Yeah, so I think that, the board has the option, but this does not, to my way of thinking, I mean, this doesn't really have all the detail that, when we send to all those, fire and DC, I mean, it doesn't really have everything that's, because it's an old plan and the new plan may be different. So, for example, the driveways may not be in that location. So we're not really ready to circulate anything at this stage.
Fine. So let's just do the conditional sketch plan motion. And then once we have like a new refreshed, clean preliminary thing, that's what we can circulate. We'll declare lead agency. And then when that's submitted.
Yeah. So exactly. So we'll get the preliminary plat next meeting, and we'll declare lead agency. We'll circulate to everybody, and then the hearing will be, probably if it's uncoordinated, which I think it will be. It could be 2 weeks later, or it could be 30 days, depending on how the meetings play out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. Yes.
Okay. I mean, in that case, I think it's going to be a pretty easy motion. Unless anyone has questions, I can do a motion for a conditional sketch plan approval.
Go for it.
Yes. All right. Resolution of the Planning Board of the Town of Clinton granting, I make a motion grant conditional sketch plan approval for the Charles property subdivision, whereas applicants Carlos and Laura Charles are requesting a 2-lot subdivision of lands in a 26.85 acre site located at 404 Pumpkin Lane, which is in an AR5 zoning district in the town of Clinton. Tax grid number as shown on the plat created by DF Wheeler Engineers, 37 West Market Street, Red Hook, New York. And whereas the acreage after the subdivision will be plus or minus 10.79 acres for the lot north of Pumpkin Lane, lot 1, and plus or minus 16.06 acres for the lot south of Pumpkin Lane, lot 2, whereas the applicant has submitted a short form EAF. Now therefore be it resolved, the Town of Clinton Planning Board grants sketch plan approval for the requested subdivision of lands when the following conditions are met. The following items shall be included in the plat. 1, location of the property within the Ridgeline Scenic and Historic Protection Overlay District and the Taconic State Parkway Viewshed. 2, full names of the property owners. 3, the address of the property should be changed to Town of Clinton, Dutchess County, New York.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Tracy, I.
Sarah, I.
Jack, aye.
All aye. Sounds like all aye.
Mhm.
Great.
Great.
So great. So you're so you're on. You're through the first stage, and as I said, we'll wait for you to submit the next set of plans.
Great. So we've got a little homework. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
And I would just say, if you want to reach out, I'll offer this. Maybe I shouldn't, but I'm sure Justin would be, more than happy to. If you have any questions,
Yeah.
before you
Paul,
come
I
back.
thought you were the volunteer for that, Paul.
I shouldn't have said it. I'm sorry, Justin. We're willing to help. And one thing
We're all
I
here
think
to help.
I think we're going to have to, I was just going to just remind us to, I think we'll have to circulate to New York State DOT because it's right next to the Taconic. So I just have a feeling that's going to be a requirement. We'll have to make a note of that.
I think the old agencies are the right ones, right? Board of Health, Highway Department, CAC, Dutchess Planning, Historic and Roads, Eastland Fire, New York State DOT.
Perfect. Okay.
You guys did the work 7 years ago, so I'm just going to copy it.
Very good, guys.
So hold on a second, Paul. Paul, can you hear me?
Yep.
With regards to drawing or something, so you want an actual preliminary plat, right? So, which I don't know who's, well, the applicant should actually just consult somebody or whoever did the survey probably is the easiest way to do this, to really configure what you're trying to do.
Sounds good.
Yeah, or they just, right, whoever their new engineer is going to be, right?
Yeah,
They're gonna
yeah.
start working, just start working.
We've got a guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Take care.
Good night, you guys.
Night.
How come we could hear you now, Paul? You have
I might-
used the phone before.
Oh,
super.
I don't know what's going on. It just, my internet was flipping out, so I didn't want to take a chance.
Yeah, no, you sound good. All right, so.
So I don't know, do we have anything else, Arlene, or are there minutes or something? Or?
Why are you disagreeing? It's coordinated. That's what you guys agreed before. It's coordinated.
I don't know why we did that, but
It was assigned to Elliot before, I believe.
it's a 2-lot subdivision.
I was thinking maybe because of the Taconic.
That's the only thing I was thinking. I mean, if I'm wrong, I just,
Proximity to Taconic.
if I'm wrong, I'll eat my hat.
Well, Paul, I think when the first people were coming, I think they were going to subdivide the other lot either in 1 or 2 pieces.
Right. That's
There's
right.
going to be 3 lots. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 lots. Yeah.
And when they originally came in, they were talking 4. And you know,
Okay.
with the wetlands and everything, it was looking pretty impossible.
Yeah, I mean, it could have. That's a good point. It could have been. It's a very good point because it could have been the DEC, had to approve something, and we, here we're just here. I think they're just going to be involved. So, but we may have been in the in the buffer or something. So, do we have anything else, Arlene?
Nope, we're good. Oh, I'm sorry. I talked to Art about this. So the what do you call this? The open space thing they want to present next meeting, but they're gonna go to the town board first. They're, I don't know, from the state. So that's gonna be included to our next agenda.
Open space. Okay. All right.
So.
Okay. Motion to adjourn. Anybody? Jerry?
Jerry.
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
Second.
You can take my cough as a second.
All in favor? Just say aye. We don't have to roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.